Radio Diaspora Tunisie est un podcast qui crée des synergies de développement et de collaboration pour notre pays, la Tunisie, à travers nos talents intellectuels tunisiens rayonnant aux quatre coins de la planète et exerçant leur expertise dans des univers variés, augmentés par les technologies exponentielles. Je suis Dr Lobna Karoui, stratégiste en intelligence artificielle appliquée pour des grands groupes internationaux, contributrice à Forbes et présidente de AI Exponential Thinker. Le podcast Radio Diaspora Tunisie est proposé en partenariat avec le média Web Manager Center. Aujourd'hui, mon invité est Dr Nejib Ben Khedher, Senior Vice President of Emirates Skywards. Nejib served as the interim Chief Information Officer from November 2021 to May 2023, demonstrating a great leadership across diverse areas within the Emirates groups. Thank you, Nejib, for being with us today and welcome in the show Radio Diaspora Tunisia and within our audience, AI Exponential Thinker.
Thanks, Dr. Lobna, for the invite. Je suis très ravi d'être là avec vous. Et merci pour l'introduction aussi. C'est très passionnant ce que vous faites et je vous remercie déjà pour tout l'effort que vous faites pour explorer les talents tunisiens un peu et nous sommes éparpillés, comme vous le dites, à travers le monde. Mais aussi, nous avons un devoir aussi de donner, to give back to the country that really fostered us and gave us the opportunity to be where we are today.
Absolutely. And thank you for accepting very quick the invitation. It was super humble from your side, and we are lucky to have you today with us, Nejib. So as everyone knows, this podcast have couple stages. We will start by the first stage to break the ice, let's say, and know more about you. So you have such a fantastic journey in business in large international corporates for almost and more than 3 decades even. If you have to pick up 3 magic moments to share with our audience, our young generation, what will be this kind of momentum? What will be this kind of momentum, Nejib?
Dr. Lobna, as you mentioned, it's been a long journey for me, right? 3 decades, as you mentioned, 3+ actually decades. Starts my professional career in 1990 with American Airlines. But I wouldn't talk about 3 moments. If you allow me, I'm going to talk about 3 eras that has taking me from when I started, as I mentioned, 1990 to today. And I've been incredibly fortunate really to, have a rich and diverse career. But fortunate mostly because I've started my career under a charismatic leader in the airline industry and possibly or probably ending my career with another charismatic leader as well here at Emirates. So I started it under Bob Crandall at American Airlines, who's been leading the industry at the forefront when the deregulation started in the US in 1978. And then, as I mentioned, now working with Emirates under Sir Tim Clark as well, a charismatic and iconic leader here in the industry. So let me say, roughly speaking, 3 decades, 3 eras. I call them the formative years, the transformative years, and the reflective years. So really, the formative years are the inception of my career, where I was a nerdy PhD out of the University of Michigan and joined what was at the time American Airlines Decision Technology, which is the innovation arm of American Airlines, where we basically were toying with a lot of new concepts. The hub and spoke model was just created. American was using Dallas and other cities in the US as their hubs. Bob Crandall was really pushing us to use some of the new technologies at the time, operations research, optimization, management science, to optimize and to make the airline more efficient. So the introduction of revenue management, as a matter of fact, the introduction of loyalty programs started with American Airlines as well in the 80s. So revenue management, crew optimization, network optimization, anything you can think of that can enhance the airline's operational efficiency and customer experience as well. And I was in the middle of all of these modeling and optimization work that was done at the time. And these really have shaped a lot my career from a technical perspective, if you will, as well. For me, it was a fascinating world to enter. And the airlines at the time was, as I said, at the forefront of using these technologies as well. Then after that, those few years of formative years, as I mentioned, I went into what they call the inflection years, or the transformative years. And this is where my career has progressed into more of a strategy and people management, if you will, or people leadership as well, where I was tasked with a number of transformations within the industry itself. And that really helped shape me as a leader as well. And I've taken on a number of, again, I didn't have a linear career, if you will. I had the opportunity to work on different things within the aviation industry or within the travel industry. So things I've run, for example, a delivery organization for Sabre Holdings, which is again one of the biggest providers of software to airline industry. I've managed the growth of Sabre in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I've worked on the turnaround of Travelocity, which is an online travel agency. So it was a widespread type of experiences that I been tasked with, and again, been fortunate to be able to lead teams through these transformation and turnarounds. And then at the end of this, let's say the last decade, where I moved here to Dubai to work for Emirates, started in IT. You mentioned also my job. I started as deputy CIO, and then I moved from technology to the business side of things, where I have no background in loyalty, but again, because I've been labeled as a transformation leader, I've been tasked with taking the program and propelling it, the loyalty program skywards into the data and digital world. So for me, these last 10 years and hopefully the next few before retirement is for me to leave a legacy behind. So I call them reflective years, as in I reflect on this whole career and try to make something out of it, so we can leave something behind. And this is really what I'm passionate about right now. Use of data, digital. We'll talk about AI later on, etc. Into how do we transform a loyalty program, and the loyalty programs lend themselves because of the data or the richness of the data we have to the use of some of these techniques. So I'm combining my transformation years with my technical expertise into hopefully leaving a legacy behind. Once I retire, I know. Again, I have a frame behind me that says 60. That kind of gives away my age. So I'm on these reflective years now.
Okay. You mentioned, I like the way that you build this kind of framework, right? Kind of framework that can help also young generation think about where I am exactly today, right? And even other people kind of more mature in their career or journey, let's say, they can reflect on where I am exactly. And this is a good framework that you are sharing with us. You mentioned also Michigan. So as the chief insight for connected product and Stellantis, I'm experiencing more and more Michigan landscape, and it's super rich in terms of university, technology, software, and all these kind of partnership and collaboration. So you were lucky to be in that space and back to that moment, right? And I know
Dr. Lubna, thanks for mentioning Michigan. We're between the East and West. So whereby, the East is known for also, Boston, the Boston area as well. And then the Valley, of course, are known so much. And then we forget that there is a middle in between where we still have great universities, as you mentioned, and, that are a cradle for innovation. Thank you for that.
And maybe one more, so you define this kind of framework, and maybe I didn't ask the question, frankly. It's about all what you experiencing last weeks and months, all the awards that you and your team kind of gain, right? These couple, let us know a little bit about all these magic moments that you are living these couple weeks before.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's been actually a great journey with Skyward. So I took on so I usually, when I take a transformation job and my life since, I would say, around 2000, right? I've started all these transformations. Usually I take on these transformations and they're like 2 years where I come in, I build a team, we work on a vision, we have strategic objectives. I start driving the implementation of some of these. We have targets in terms of where we want to take the business. And then after 3 years, I take it to a cruising altitude, and then I leave to the next assignment, which may be totally different, as I mentioned, from the one before. With Skywards, a bit of difference there, where it's been a ride that we started in 2015 with the idea of having that transformation into data and digital, and then basically taking it into that cruising altitude and then moving to something else. Well, I don't know if it's, I really fell in love with this whole area, and I, unfortunately for my team, keep on making the bar or the targets grow as we go, and then it's like an evergreen type of transformation. So it never stops. We're always into that movement. And then you mentioned some of these awards. We've been, winning awards, and again, I'm grateful for the team that I have and for the celerity with which we are implementing all of these changes. But the program has tripled in size since we started this transformation in 2016. So we, actually, I have this cup that says 10 million members. This was 2013. We're today 34 million members. So we've multiplied the program by 3 from a member-based perspective, but also on a number of other metrics as well, engagement and etc. And that's because we're continuously innovating. We're continuously bringing new products into the market. We're continuously being seen as forward thinkers. And of course, at the image of Emirates as an airline as well. So we've taken the program from being a frequent flyer program to becoming a lifestyle loyalty program. And we democratized the program, which was catering when it was a frequent flyer program to really the top 2% of our member base, into today being democratic in a way that from the first mile you earn, there's possibility for you also to burn and to be rewarded as well. So making it much broader. Maybe some statistics just to give you an idea about how this program is a bit different from what you're probably you're familiar with in the US, because the US carriers have excellent programs, but they cater a lot to the domestic markets. My largest base, and I'm based here in Dubai, my largest member base is in the UK with more than 4 million members. My second largest base is in the US with more than 3 million members. And then comes the UAE, Australia, India, Germany, etc., which have more than 1 million members. Actually, in the UAE, 2 million. In Australia as well, we have 2 million members. In India, 2 million members. And in Germany, 1.3 million members. So that's the complexity of running something, but it's also the opportunity for us to be on the world scene and to be seen as truly a global program at the image of the airline, at the image of Dubai as well. So these awards, again, gratify the team and myself, and we keep on, as I said, moving that bar and trying to continue to be at the forefront of things. And we're always happy with the last award we get, but we're again, that if anything is a good pat on the back for the team and all the efforts we're putting in.
Great. And for sure, we will need more time if we need to name all the awards, right? And congratulations for this great work. And I'm absolutely on top of this great team, I'm sure. So, and under your leadership for sure as well. So, as you know, I'm working in AI for more than 2 decades. So I will not move to the next topic without talking about AI. And I know that Tunisia, in our country, Tunisia, we are working more and more in AI. We have a lot of great tech talents, right? And this is one of our big assets today in our country. So let's talk about AI a little bit, and data and insight. Today, almost all the companies in the world are looking to enhance and reinforce the insight revolutions inside their company, right? They are talking about AI, generative AI, and data for sure. How you perceive this revolution and its impact in your area in Emirates today?
Dr. Lubna, you may be surprised. You're maybe too young to remember those early days in 1978, as I mentioned, where there was the U.S. airline deregulation, and that pushed really competition, among the airlines. That's when I started getting into aviation, right? Like I joined the École Nationale d'Aviation Civile in Toulouse in 1981, and then I went to Super-Héros in 1984-85. So I've spent a lot of time really in that world, and I stayed connected with the airlines. But I want to talk about the deregulation in the US that came in 78, as I mentioned, that pushed the airlines to innovate and be extremely competitive. I mentioned the innovation arm of American Airlines Decision Technologies, where I started my career, and we were pushed to leverage advanced mathematical models and decision support system to optimize the operations and maximize the revenue. That's an early use of AI, because we think of AI as being something very recent in some way, and that the explosion with Gen AI has helped a lot with that, maybe making the concept more popular, for people to kind of understand the applications of it. But we, from an airline perspective, have been an early adopters of these models as well. I talked about revenue management, dynamic pricing, all of these things. Disruption management, which is a big topic with the airlines, and you feel it sometimes now that the winter is coming to your part of the world. We don't really have a winter here, so but we do have fog from time to time, which disrupts us. So there is a lot of disruption, and there are use of techniques that qu'on peut apparenter to artificial intelligence that have been used in the airline industry. And also the airline industry has been known at the forefront to use a lot of this data to be able to manage the operations, a very, very complex operation, especially when you talk about hub and spoke models. So we were in the industry already into that frame of mind, in terms of thinking of using, again, these technologies to manage the operations and the customer experience as well. But if we fast forward to today, and as a matter of fact, you mentioned, of course, I went to University of Michigan. I managed the two schools, engineering schools I went to in Toulouse. But my engineering diploma, the first one was in air transportation. The second one was in advanced systems, and actually it was a word for artificial intelligence, because I was majoring in robotics. Mm-hmm. And you know that the airlines as well, quand on parle de l'avionique à bord, avionics have a lot of that as well, AI modeling in there as well. So I was just going to say, I'm the old-fashioned AI guy who's now trying to catch up with all the new stuff that's coming and hitting us. So maybe I'll talk about some applications today that we're exploring with Skywards. And there are probably three that you need to think about. One is truly B2C. So as a loyalty program, it's all about engaging members. It's all about communicating with members. And more with the new generation, but also more and more with the data that we have, personalization is expected out of us. And AI absolutely is one of the best tools out there for us to help get those insights in real time and to be able to communicate with members real time. So I'll give you one application that I championed here, but the idea matured with me when I was running the Travelocity in the US as an online travel agency, where we have people coming to our website, and our biggest KPI was around conversion. So whenever you have a visitor coming in to the website, how do you convert them when they're coming in? And obviously, that's really, that translates into massive revenue. And how do you upsell them? How do you, when they're there, right? Like, and you as a consumer, you're seeing that happening, with offers coming your way, etc. Mm-hmm. But we also don't want it to be intrusive, and we don't want it to. We want to allow. You have to do it in a subtle way where you're not turning off somebody, right? Sure. So that's it has to be personalized. It has to be relevant. So picture somebody coming to our website, Emirates Online. Okay, so and we want to drive more traffic to the direct channels, our direct channels. Mm-hmm. You're logging in. We know who you are. As a member, if you're logging in with your Skywards, credentials, we know who you are as a member. We know, what tier you are, how many miles you have, all of these things. We also know what you're searching for. a destination, etc. We put specific offers that are personalized to you on. And obviously we have multiple frequencies on certain destinations. So take London, we have more than 10 frequencies a day. You take you take Frankfurt, it's more than 3 frequencies a day. We want to do what we call switch selling you. So on flights that are very full, we want to put you on, put an offer on the flights that we want to attract you to, because those flights have a lower load factors. We also want to upsell you. So if you're choosing a certain fare brand, let's say a saver fare, and we want to push you to a flex fare, we will put an offer on the flex fare so that we're upselling you as well, or to the other premium cabin. So these offers, and they're randomized in a way where if you come a second time, you're not going to get the same offer. So we're trying to create that urgency for you to book during those sessions. It's done in a very relevant way, as I mentioned. It's because we know who you are, we know how many miles you have, we know your history with us in terms of transaction, which cabin you're flying into, etc. And we combine all these elements and the forecasts on the flights to be able to push the right offers. Skywards members convert 4 times more than non-Skywards members when they're coming online. 4 times or 4x. 4x. And some of these loyalty tactics, we call them, which are, again, fueled by algorithms in the back, and real-time algorithms, because we're also looking at what you're doing real-time on the website, are types of users that are very practical in nature, and that translate into additional revenue, but also customer satisfaction. Sure. Because you feel special, again, when you're coming in, because we're very relevant. There's something for the airline, there's something for us as a loyalty program in terms of engagement, and there's something for the member as well, and that's what's the most important thing for us to go do. So that's one example, and sorry for taking so much time, but I wanted to be very practical in the way we do things, and something that's very close to my heart. And you talk about awards, we also receive awards because we come up with these things as well, and it's and I think the industry looks at it as something innovative and etc., and maybe used in other industries, but from an online perspective, it's something that's new. The second use is an important one for us, but it's a behind the scene type of use. So if you think about Skywards miles, or if you think about points or miles, they are digital currencies that more and more are having a utility value for those members, right? Like these can be translated into rewards, they can be translated into cash as well. We actually have a possibility for people to translate their miles into cash and to use those miles as a discount against a ticket. So they're prone for more fraudulent use as well, and people trying to basically, because it's money at the end of the day, right? And AI helps a lot, and the technology helps us a lot to be proactively monitoring transactions and understanding behavior so we can stop fraud from happening. It's too late when it happens, because then we're in a recovery stage. This is preventive work that is done using, again, AI to understand what's the source of the person who's logging in. And I'm not going to disclose everything we're doing behind the scenes, but you can just see how data can lend itself very well. And we're talking about millions of transactions, right? Like we know, So, we have more than 90 million miles that are earned, per day. So we're talking about, millions of miles, billions of miles, right? That we're talking about. So, the use of AI here also helps us with preventive, doing more preventive management of fraud. And I'll use a third one, which probably speaks more to people because of the Gen AI and all of that. And this one is in a POC stage, but we receive a lot of feedback from customers, right? Like we survey customers, and there is an old way of asking, are you happy with this? Are you happy with that? But you know what? The richest, data that we have is actually the unstructured data. It's all the verbatims. Okay. It's, members just saying something here and there, either whether it's on social or actually connecting with us, etc. And we have a very well engaged base that actually provides us with feedback. and they're not shy of giving us feedback, whether it's on the product or on the program, etc. So just think about, having a custom tool or Gen AI tool that you would be using to take on all this information.
Sure.
And out of it come with something that's a bit more categorized and actually more condensed, where we can action, if you will, as well. So that's in a very effective way, if we will. So that's a third use. A fourth use, but I'll spare you the details. I mean, I'm really also very passionate about the area, as you can tell, but a fourth use, and I'll end it there. And it's something similar. The program has become extremely complex, as you can imagine, right? Like, we're adding thousands of partners. We have different ways to engage with the program. We're not, as I mentioned, a frequent flyer program anymore. We're a lifestyle loyalty, and that means that we're in people's everyday life. We have, for example, a platform called Skywars Every Day, where you can just link your cards to the app, and then whenever you go to some of the partner shops, F&B, retail, etc., you earn miles as you go. We have Dubai Mall as a partner of ours. They use our currency as a loyalty currency to bring more footfall to the mall. So we've got all of these interactions that are happening. One of the POCs again is to how do we allow members to simplify these things for them. So you come in as a member and use natural language in asking, I've got so many miles, tell me what is the best use of my miles if I wanted to do this or that. And we'll direct you and just say, hey, best thing is maybe engage with Skywars Hotels, because we also have a platform called Skywars Hotels where you can earn and burn, or we can just tell you, you need to earn 10,000 more miles and you'll be able to fly, get a reward ticket to London, these type of things. So make it easier for people to engage with the program. And rather than your FAQs, this becomes a much more engaging way for us to provide you information about the program and how to engage with it. Sorry, I overwhelming everyone with all these examples, but yeah, it's an area that is fascinating. I know you're in the middle of it, so
what I'm feeling you are super passionate about AI, firstly. But also you are passionate about all the added value of this exponential technology in a very concrete way to your business and especially to your clients, right? And members, as you name it. And this is where it's important to mention that when we use AI, most of the case we are using it in order to offer a better experience, a more smooth experience, and maybe a better way of using their money as well, right? Because we are caring about these clients, and this is where we use technology, and we are super proud of using it, because at the end of the day, if a client is satisfied, they will come back, right? Firstly, they will trust you, and then they will come back and bring other clients with them, right? And this is what we all
that's the definition of loyalty. You defined loyalty. You just defined loyalty for us. That's exactly what we're aiming at, but it has to be relevant. It has to be relevant to people. It has to be. Yes, Dobna.
Yes. I'm hearing every piece of work that you are saying, because I was working a couple of years before, right? Kind of long term for me, before in Accor Hotels, and it's all about loyalty programs, right? I will not talk about the company and the huge asset that they have, but it's reflected on a lot of things that you are talking about, not on the exact examples, but just about the mindset behind and the way of caring about the clients.
Mahdi Hamisi, who runs Accor All, which is the loyalty program, is also one of the brains in the industry as well. I mean, he's done phenomenal work with taking All, which is the Accor loyalty program, to new levels as well, leveraging data as well. I mean, I think he's also very passionate around personalization and introducing products as well. He, by the way, he copied us by introducing Accor Plus, which is very similar to the subscription program that I've launched. which is called Scholars Plus. But anyway, he's a great friend, and as you know, it's a community that we have, and Maddie is doing a phenomenal job as well at
And
the core.
you talk
Thanks for
also,
mentioning.
Nejib, about something else that maybe only people who work in AI will catch this point very quick. It's about real time. As I'm working now in autonomous driving, real time
Yes.
is crucial. It's about safety of people,
Yeah.
right? It's even
Of course.
more critical, right,
Of
in a
course.
way,
Yeah.
because
The margin for error is
exactly. So real time
very
in
limited.
technology, it's a huge critical point that we need to. And when you run programs, algorithms, and kind of platforms, complete platforms on, and you need this real time. Oh my God, the team behind need to be super sharp, right? in terms of software and technology. And I'm sure that you have these kind of talents as well in your company. So
yeah. By the way, if we look at the talent we're bringing in, we have that data background, insights background that can just take on some of these things. It's all about harnessing the technology. I know brains like you are working on modeling all of this and putting all the algorithms in place. But we also need translators, people who can just look into all these technologies and translate them into the business world as well. And you need to have these type of minds, coming in, and la frontière between, tech and business is getting thinner and thinner.
And technology is an enabler at the end of the day. It's used for business firstly and for customers mainly, right? So on va switcher en français et
très bien.
Et là on va
essayer parce que j'ai toujours travaillé dans une culture américaine ou anglo-saxonne, donc où j'ai pas utilisé le français comme une langue de travail, si tu veux. Mais j'ai essayé.
En fait, l'avantage de ce podcast, c'est qu'on peut parler en anglais et en français et on peut même parler en tunisien. Donc voilà, donc ça fait qu'on montre toute la richesse qu'on a à travers nos talents qui arrivent à comprendre et switcher très rapidement. Et ça, c'est un skills énorme dans les années à venir, en tout cas qu'il faut fosterer. Alors la Tunisie, on va parler de ça. C'est une rubrique qui est toujours existante dans nos podcasts. On parle du regard croisé de notre diaspora et on voudrait un petit peu peut-être comprendre que, de par votre vision, Nejib, quels seraient les axes sur lesquels il faudrait amplifier l'investissement ou l'effort pour faire rayonner nos talents, les encourager et redresser la situation de la Tunisie de mieux en mieux. Et si on pouvait aussi parler un petit peu de comment on peut préparer ces talents pour devenir des futurs ambassadeurs pour la Tunisie finalement, que ce soit dans la technologie, mais dans d'autres domaines aussi.
Oui, peut-être quelques axes de travail, Lubna, quand j'y pense, et comme j'ai dit au départ, nous avons une obligation en tant que diaspora de give back to the country that, again, got us where we are today, right? Like it's all about, the education system that has really put us, où nous a aidé, si vous voulez. Après, bon, chacun de nous a pris, comment dire, son propre chemin, mais on est tous issus un tout petit peu de cette école de la République qui nous a mis sur satellite. Donc là, pour moi, une des choses importantes, c'est de se focaliser dès le départ en Tunisie sur les matières qui ont de l'attrait aujourd'hui. Je crois que en fait, on a des écoles, que ce soit des écoles d'ingénieurs ou à l'université, sur des départements mathématiques, etc., sciences appliquées, et qui ont formé des gens comme toi, comme moi, qui nous a permis un tout petit peu mais aujourd'hui, c'est-à-dire, donc, tu as parlé de l'intelligence artificielle, certainement data science, cyber security, qui est devenu de plus en plus quelque chose de très important aussi. Donc, de pousser les gens d'aller vers ces technologies qui ont de l'attrait aujourd'hui, et de former des gens qui peuvent après donc pouvoir opérer dans ces domaines-là. Donc, premièrement, c'est l'éducation et de pouvoir orienter les programmes vers ces technologies-là et de pouvoir utiliser peut-être la diaspora dans ce sens-là comme intervenant parfois dans ces programmes-là, du point de vue pratique, si vous voulez, pour que les gens savent où ils vont et quelles sont les opportunités qu'il y a à l'extérieur. Donc là, il y a une possibilité. Je sais que moi, il y a très longtemps, quand j'étais déjà à Supaéro et quand je suis parti à Michigan, j'avais la possibilité de revenir vers les étudiants à l'ENIT à ce moment-là et de parler un tout petit peu de ce qu'on faisait, de ce qui était dans l'air du temps. Et moi, j'étais très passionné de la partie recherche opérationnelle et management science. Donc, de parler de ça. Et il y avait un département naissant de génie industriel à l'ENIT et ça leur parlait, tout ça.
D'accord.
Donc, de pouvoir en fait faire ce lien, de voir des compétences qui reviennent comme intervenants, mais pas que académiques, c'est des intervenants qui sont beaucoup plus dans des domaines pratiques. Donc, ça, c'est la première chose, c'est l'éducation. La deuxième chose, c'est la collaboration entre le public, le PPPP, right, like public-private, partnerships. Donc, de pouvoir en fait que ce soit l'univers académique, travaillant avec des compagnies de technologie, avec le gouvernement, et peut-être facilité par la diaspora, parce que nous sommes tous dans des univers où nous sommes dans des compagnies, enfin, on a des Tunisiens qui sont chez Microsoft, chez Google, et qui peuvent en fait essayer peut-être de faciliter ce genre de partenariat qu'il y a entre des établissements éducatifs en Tunisie, des compagnies de technologie, et d'essayer de créer un partenariat quelconque qui peut prendre différentes formes. Hein. Ce sont soit des stages d'étudiants, soit des projets sur lesquels des étudiants peuvent travailler, etc. Donc, the public-private partnerships, if you will, is another way of doing things. Il faut aussi encourager nos talents tunisiens. Et là, il y a quelques jours, je voyais un post de jeunes Tunisiens, mais jeunes, vraiment, moi je crois même qui ne sont pas à l'université, hein, qui étaient dans une compétition internationale d'intelligence artificielle et qui ont gagné le premier prix. C'était, je crois que c'était en robotique.
D'accord, ça m'étonne
Et
pas,
c'est
c'est la
incroyable.
première année.
Ah oui, voilà.
Non.
Donc, en fait, d'encourager à la participation de tout ce qui est des hackathons, global tech forums, and then give them, and this again, Diaspora can help somewhat create the links for them. Et donc, voilà, c'est des forums sur lesquels on a des talents tunisiens qui peuvent arriver et on peut mettre en valeur le fait qu'il y a des gens dans notre pays, que ce soit au niveau régional en Afrique, que ce soit au niveau même global, parce que je parlais de la compétition est une compétition globale. Hein. Il y avait des gens du monde entier. Donc, donc try to find these type of forums for people so that we expose the talent to other talent from elsewhere, but also we expose them so that people know the type of talent we have at home. Il y a une partie que j'ai remarqué moi-même parce que j'ai été invité par des associations tunisiennes qui travaillent avec des startups. Et une des choses sur laquelle j'ai mis l'accent, c'est la communication. Donc, on est peut-être très bon parfois dans les technical skills, but we're not very good at pitching it in some ways. So, and people, as I mentioned, people who have the experience, who have gone through a number of these things in the past, who have been in leadership roles dans des compagnies extérieures, peuvent aussi aider dans tout ce qui est communication, tout ce qui est soft skills, et aider les gens à pitcher, etc. On a beaucoup d'idées en Tunisie. Il y a des gens qui ont commencé des startups, mais vraiment des idées très novatrices. Et ça serait bien qu'on puisse leur donner un sounding board ou encore, je fais le lien encore toujours avec la diaspora parce que, mais où ils peuvent en fait pitch just, and then we can help them refine their pitch, right? Like this is how helping on the soft skill side. So as you can see, these are some of the areas. So it starts with really the education, and then the partnerships that can happen with technology companies, then the exposure into forums, and then really helping with the softer side of things as well. So hopefully these are some of the elements that are practical in nature that can be done. Malheureusement, aujourd'hui, je ne sais pas s'il y a des organisations, en fait, enfin, ton initiative aide beaucoup à faire ces liens-là, mais je ne sais pas s'il y a des organisations qui sont en place pour aider qu'il y ait ces liens-là. Les gens peuvent se porter volontaires s'il y a des forums qui existent comme ça de participation de la diaspora dans des activités locales en Tunisie.
C'est excellent, en fait, la façon dont tu structures. Et c'est le dernier point communication que généralement, ça n'a rien à voir avec les Tunisiens, là, pour le coup, la Tunisie. Mais ça, c'est ce que je vois dans le domaine technique, généralement. En fait, les gens qui sont très forts techniquement, généralement, donc, bien sûr, ils master their domain, for sure. When it comes to communication, to express what they did in a very marketing way, there's every time struggle there. Surtout quand il s'agit de présenter et d'aller dans le marketing et de bien présenter les choses, pas présenter le technique, le côté, le
storytelling.
Exact, of the technical aspect. Storytelling. Et j'ai un épisode que j'ai organisé il y a quelques mois avec une grande patronne de TikTok qu'on a nommé Storytelling. And she's teaching storytelling actually in Wharton School. That's her role for sure, right? And we did that by purpose. Why? Because no one is caring about storytelling, but you know very well when it comes to leadership, storytelling is very important.
It's all about that, right?
Exactly.
Like, you put the business cases, you're doing this. It's how you put the story is the spin you give it will get you the funding, won't get you the funding. I mean, and technical people have, I think it's, why leave it to marketing people to just go do you do all the hard work and then they get the glory in some way. So we've got to equip people with these type of skills. It just helps them out, take that message.
Exactly. Donc, tout ça pour dire le mot communication et la façon dont tu l'as shapé, ça, c'est quelque chose sur lequel il faut vraiment s'arrêter pour voir quelles sont les opportunités possibles là où on peut aider vraiment en Tunisie. C'est un très grand point. Je vais finir peut-être avec un nouveau topic qu'on a maintenant défini dans ce podcast. On ne pose plus de questions à la fin, mais on pose la question s'il y avait une question que vous avez peut-être envie qu'on vous pose et auquel on n'a pas pensé. Quelle serait la question et peut-être en une phrase la réponse? Je sais que c'est un peu, on se fait inspirer par à l'échelle globale et donc du coup on s'est dit pourquoi ne pas ouvrir la porte dans ce sens.
Écoute, I'm thinking about it, but like, if I stitch everything that I've talked about so far, right? Like the career that I had, that I'm now in those legacy years or reflective years, if you will, if you just talk about, what you can do to to leveraging new technologies, if you can talk about like, how do we build these bridges between the diaspora and then our technical talents back in Tunisia as well. For me, as leaving a legacy is something that resonates, I think, with all of us, whether as parents watching our children grow or as leaders, seeing the talent we've nurtured thrive and make an impact. But I'm really itching to expand it beyond my immediate circle. Well, whether it's my family or in this case, my team and that I'm working with, or the people that I have developed in the past as well. And really, one project I'm truly passionate about is looking forward to the future is sharing my experience in transformation leadership, whether through writing a book. I love writing, and I write a lot of white papers on the business side of things. But how about like really trying to take everything that I've lived through and try to pass it to the next generation in some way or fashion, whether it's in a book or in a masterclass, talking about these practical lessons that I've learned through the decades and how I've worked in diverse environments and cultures. And it would be a natural conclusion of my career and probably the ultimate legacy that you keep. But, again, taking all of this that I've lived through and passing it to the next generation as well, and hopefully making an impact that lasts much longer than your journey. Yeah.
Amazing.
So it may be self-centered in some way, but it is actually something that I have in mind, and I would love to. I love coaching, Lubna, and I think that's interaction with people, and talking about, some of my career is truly a technical nerd person, and then ending it up more around people centricity, whether it is, as a loyalty program with customers, but also with people around me, in terms of, leadership and providing that type of coaching as well. So yeah, that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to. And
Nejib, you are talking about masterclass or writing a book. I remember a couple 3 years back, I think, in one of the podcasts, one of my guests was saying to me, like, I hope I will have a podcast like you during the podcast, right? So I'm thankful that you invite me, and I would like to have a podcast. Believe me, today she has a podcast with hundreds of thousands of people following her. Just to say. So, and why I'm naming this example, because she was not thinking that someone will invite her, and I invite her because I was thinking about her potential, and then see where she is today. I'm super proud of that. And why I'm saying that, because the way that you think about masterclass and giving your kind of more insight to the other generations to help them navigate and thrive, right, in their journey, it's super generous in a way, but also humble in a way, because we need these kind of leaders who are thinking about us, because it's every time we think it's easy at some point in the area and the journey, but it's not true. It's not true. Every insight coming from a leader can help you shape things differently, right? And it's nice to have.
True, because you never know the angle they take, and etc. And the experiences are very different. As I said, I didn't have a linear career in some way. I've lived through things, and I'm fortunate that people have opened the doors to me. I'm fortunate for having coaches also have helped me thrive as well. So, passing it back, you thought it's generous and humbling, but it's fulfilling as well for somebody to feel that they make an impact, right? It's all about this legacy thing. It's just so important that you leave something behind that يعني كما يقولوا بالتونسي يذكروك بالخير. يعني you're remembered in a good way. So
c'est important نبداو عندنا des عباد معناتها surtout sur le côté pratique, très important le côté pratique,
bien sûr,
on apprend beaucoup le côté théorique. Alors, on a le pratique, bien sûr, mais le pratique fait l'entreprise, il est très différent de le pratique et les le study, tu vois. Et ça, c'est important de voir toujours les connexions, connect the dots.
Absolument.
Donc, c'est excellent la façon dont tu conclus le podcast. Merci beaucoup, Nejib, pour avoir accepté cette invitation. C'est très intéressant d'écouter. Maintenant, switcher en français, c'est moi qui est en train d'avoir la difficulté. Mais it was super nice to hear all the insights coming from your experience and all the advices also for young generation.
Lubna, يعطيك الصحة. أنت خاطر vraiment, tu prends ça sur ton propre temps à تعمل فيه. Et de créer ce lien-là avec un topic qui est quand même un sujet qui est très intéressant pour tout le monde, et c'est un sujet du futur aussi. Donc, يعطيك الصحة, وإن شاء الله كما صار مع l'invité que tu avais qui a fini par faire son podcast, enfin, que cette séance soit un catalyste لينا باش نبدا نكتب peut-être ولا نعمل classe. Donc, rendez-vous peut-être dans quelques mois ou quelques années, je ne sais pas. Et tu pourras dire que voilà, c'était l'idée a été créée pendant ton podcast. Donc voilà. Je te remercie encore une fois.
Je sais encore.
Anna, j'étais très ravi de te parler. J'espère que ton auditoire trouvera ça intéressant. Et puis, Inch'Allah, ntrablu quelque part à travers le monde. Emirates flies everywhere, so and you can fly through Dubai. So anytime you're in Dubai, مرحبا بي Dubai, مرحبا بي Dubai, مرحبا بي Dubai, مرحبا بي Dubai.